Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pagemaster, with me, the Pagemaster, and today we are going to do sort of a bit of a sequel. I think people kind of liked, not people, I don't get that many views to say people liked it, but I enjoyed doing it. I talked to a few of my friends about it, and they thought it was fun, so I'm going to do a sequel to it. It's a Wizard magazine casting call. This is Wizard number 45. I love this cover. It's actually, they used to do these crazy gatefold covers. So it's a gatefold cover. Maybe I can find a scan for it. I'll put it up on the screen if I find one. This is a Mark Silvestri Cyberforce cover. Very cool. So this is number 45. It came out in 1995, and the casting call that we're going to be looking at is the third casting call. I think we did the first one before, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken? I think that was the first one, was X-Men. And this time we're going to do Avengers, which I think is pretty cool. We're casting Avengers in 1995, and we've already got like the perfect Avengers from, although I didn't think Avengers 1 or 2 were particularly strong, at least in Infinity War and Endgame. You got this really great arc from Iron Man 1 to there. Not that I dislike the movies that came afterwards, but that's a really impressive arc, and it's really epic, and doing the Infinity War is really impressive. And so we got to see most of these characters, I think, throughout all the different S.H.I.E.L.D. shows and the various different movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so this is just going to be funny to look at like a time capsule of 1995. So I'm going to try and either do a scan or a download here, but I'm going to look at the article that we've got. So starting off with Captain America, right, we get Chris Evans, but they are casting Howie Long, who is a Fox TV football announcer, but he was a football player. And I know him from, I guess, 2 movies, Broken Arrow, the John Woo movie with Christian Slater and John Travolta, and he plays like a second-rank baddie. And I also know him from Firestorm, which we covered in the 90s weather disaster, natural disaster movies. Firestorm was obviously it's a forest fire. He's horrible as an actor. I'm so sorry. He might be a nice guy. I really don't know. But he's like a piece of wood. I remember reviewing that movie and just being like, this guy ain't it. So Captain America, absolutely not. Would have been absolutely awful. But if you think that's bad, their second choice in casting here is for Thor, and they choose Fabio. I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter. The taste you love without the cholesterol.
Again, it's so... You know what? I'll say this. If you're casting Howie Long, then casting Fabio makes sense. Both of them don't make sense. But if you're going to cast one, maybe having the other one is okay. I don't really know who else I would cast at that time in 95 for Thor. I have to give it some thought, really. I don't know. But... yeah, this just doesn't, honestly, 1995, since he already played Raiden, they could probably get Christopher Lambert to do Thor. It would be ridiculous and stupid. Okay, now Iron Man, Tony Stark. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be unbeatable. It's the most iconic. I would argue that he's almost the linchpin to that first entire run of movies, from his first Iron Man to Endgame, where we see his sort of final scene. I think that he really... I don't know, all the little cameos he has in between, the way he helps put the Avengers together, it's kind of his concept. He also, as a character is just so flawed that a lot of things like the creation of Ultron and things like that, his support of the superhero registry thing that was in Civil War, like hunting down the superheroes and stuff and siding with the government. Obviously that's all pretty terrible. But anyway, he's iconic. Here we've got Timothy Dalton. That's pretty good, right? Now, I wonder why not Pierce Brosnan? I feel like, if you got your chances of Bond, 1995 would have been GoldenEye. So, but before that, he was Remington Steele, which means he was up for Bond. I kind of think that Pierce Brosnan might have been a pretty great Tony Stark. Timothy Dalton's an interesting choice, too. I could see that, for sure. Okay, Tigra. We didn't get Tigra, did we? Did we get Tigra? I don't think we did. Not in the movies, for sure, but I haven't... I did see, I think, did I see all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? But anyway, they got Tigra Annette Bening. Okay. Sure. The talent, for sure. What do I know? The Grifters is what, and Bugsy is what they're crediting for. But Annette Bening. Wasn't Annette Bening the wife of John Travolta in Face Off? I'm going to put a big no, you idiot on the screen if I got that one wrong. Hawkeye. Okay, another pretty iconic character from the series, a fan favorite. Here they are casting Emilio Estevez. I can kind of see that, right? Kind of mouthy, seems a little bit more youthful. I mean, they play the movie Hawkeye as a little bit like older because of the frailty of not having powers. So he's like old guy with a family. He's vulnerable, showing the vulnerability for the team. But Emilio Estevez, I kind of think of in Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible, when he's in the elevator and he gets killed, but like that whole conversation as they're gearing up to do that mission and they've got the banter back and forth. I could see Emilio Estevez as Hawkeye for sure. Scarlet Witch, they've got Polina Porzikova, who is a supermodel who honestly I got no thoughts on one way or another. They got a picture here of her. That's fine. I don't think usually that that casting a model or a supermodel is necessarily going to be great for a role. It seems like they would just be casting her for what she looks like. But what does it say here? The demure mutant who can put a hex on ya would be played by supermodel Polina Porzikova, who took a stab at acting in the Tom Selleck flick Her Alibi. And she also gets bonus points for her great Slavic accent, since Scarlet Witch is from that part of the world too. Well, that's interesting. I'm trying to think now. Did Scarlet Witch... the Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen, that's who it is, right? Did she do it with an accent? I feel like maybe in Age of Ultron and then it faded a little bit. I don't know. Okay, we turn the page and we get Vision. So our Vision is Paul Bettany, right? And here they're casting Peter Weller, who is RoboCop, right? And Admiral, an evil admiral in Enterprise in the last season. That's great casting, I think. He's got the gaunt sort of, I feel like you need sort of a gaunt kind of face, the cheekbones cutting in and sort of a thinness to be Vision. And the fact that he played RoboCop, something about being the mechanical man, I think he could probably, and he's a great actor. Then Jarvis. Now, our Jarvis was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I don't remember the actor for that, but here they've got John Hillerman. Okay, John Hillerman is only hilarious because if you know Magnum P.I. So he plays, what's the character's name? Higgins, right, of course. He's Higgins in Magnum P.I. And I don't know if that's really great. I'm not a huge Avengers guy, so Jarvis to me is like an Alfred, like it's just another butler. I don't really know if he's got much of a personality. But I'm assuming that he's probably got like a pithy wit or something, because that's what you'd want to cast the guy who played Higgins to be. He's always a thorn in the side of Magnum P.I. And then what we've got here for villains. So that's all their Avengers. That's not really that many, is it? Cap, Thor, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Tigra. Tigra seems like a really weird choice to me out of all the people. Like, not a Hulk. But I mean, this is 95, so they didn't really have... I know that the Hulk is originally on the team from back in the day, but in 95 I guess they're going a little bit more contemporary, so no like Wonder Man, which just had a show that came out, I guess I haven't seen yet. Okay, so then we've got Baron Zemo for villains, which they want Jurgen Prochnow, and we got the guy from Inglourious Bastards, whose name I am not who's escaping me right now, but Jurgen Prochnow seems pretty great, right? Das Boot, and what do they have here? The Seventh Sign, I don't think I've seen actually, but he would get the German accent very good. And then we've got Absorbing Man. Now Absorbing Man, I think we got didn't we get two different versions of Absorbing Man? There was one in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for sure, and he was actually pretty cool. They did a really good Crusher Creel there. And then I don't know, I guess in the Ang Lee Hulk, Nick Nolte, the dad of Bruce Banner, he kind of turns into an Absorbing Man. Didn't we get another one, though? I don't know. I feel like there was another one. Anyway, here we've got Guardian Angel. They always throw in a professional wrestler. I'm not really familiar with Guardian Angel, and the picture's got him in a beret. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Let me know, wrestling fans, whether you think that that's a good choice. And then I think our last... Okay, the last page here, we've got Radioactive Man, who they're casting former pro wrestling star George the Animal Steele, whose debut was seen in the recent film Ed Wood, would be perfect. Oh, right. So Ed Wood, he's got this big, I'm forgetting all the names today, but in Ed Wood, the movie about Ed Wood, of him filming Plan 9 from Outer Space, he has the big wrestling guy. Can't remember his name, though. And this would be the actor from the 90s Ed Wood Tim Burton movie playing that same character from back in the day. I guess so. I think you could do better, honestly. You could do better. It's just like a big muscly dude, I guess. The problem here is that, you know, you realize you're casting a lot of wrestlers because there's no special effects to, like, you can't just CG, like Thanos, for example. If you're going to do Thanos. If you're going to do Thanos, then, like, his proportions, or like the way they, you know, they kind of screwed up MODOK, but it's another example of, like, how are you going to do that in the 90s? Like, MODOK might have been, like stop motion animation, you know, like maybe you would have done him that way. CG was sort of around, but, you know, if you look at those 90s movies where they try and do CG, a lot of it stands out and doesn't date itself very well because the technology isn't really quite there. I mean, a lot of CG kind of dates itself when you notice it. So really the whole thing is about having to cast someone that's got these physical builds. That's why you're getting a Howie Long and you're getting a Fabio, right? Guy in the suit for Tony Stark doesn't have to be too buff, so Timothy Dalton, not that, you know, he's James Bond, but same with Hawkeye, like Emilio Estevez, they're not super buff dudes, but every time you get like a Colossus, you're thinking immediately of like Ivan Drago from Rocky 3. Anyway, and then we got Moondragon. They want to cast Moondragon, which is interesting. I always thought Moondragon was more of a Silver Surfer Warlock type, Warlock and the Infinity Watch character. Persis Kambata, which was Ilya, the character of Ilya from the first Star Trek movie, is a dead ringer for Mooney from back when she was a true bad girl. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that one seems lame only because, yeah, she looks exactly like her, but how many bald ladies are there, right? Because the main thing about Moondragon is she's bald, and Star Trek the motion picture, she's bald in that movie as well. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's great. She was a great actress in that movie, so that's fine with me. The Enchantress, they want Pamela Anderson. Okay. January Jones was Emma Frost. But, you know, in that case, when you look at that, yeah, January Jones was okay, but I think everyone was like, yeah, she was okay. She wasn't great, so I don't know. But again, if you're going to do Howie Long as Cap, and you're going to do Fabio as Thor, then you can have Pamela Anderson, I guess, as the Enchantress. And the last character they have here, this is kind of crazy. They didn't do Ultron, right? I'm trying to think of who are the other villains. They got Zemo, but, like, I mean, we got Loki in the first Avengers movie, so they didn't do Loki. And then we got Ultron in the second one. And then they kind of skipped over to Thanos, who, like, let's be real, it's a Silver Surfer villain, but that's okay. We can all share. It's fine. It turned out really well, so I'm not going to complain. Anyway, they got this character, the Executioner. He's dead, you say? That's the best part about this stuff. It don't matter a lick. Andrew Bionarski, who recently played Zangief in the abysmal Street Fighter flick, at least they acknowledged that it was abysmal, and also had a role in Batman Returns, would be perfect. I guess so. You know what? I wish I should have looked at some of these characters before I made the video, because I realized I'm not that big of an Avengers fan. Radioactive Man, I'm not familiar with. The Executioner, I'm not familiar with. Kind of got most of the rest of them, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, there you go. So what do you think? Is it good? Is it funny? I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. All right, well, that's pretty much it. So that's Avengers in the 90s. I think we got the better deal. We can all admit that this is I like a few of them, right? I liked Emilio Estevez, would have been fun to see as Hawkeye, and any James Bond, right, would have been fine as Iron Man, and Peter Weller as Vision, I think, would have been really killer. Those three, I think, were the tops. But man, when you start with Howie Long as Cap, you're really, sorry Howie, but you're setting a low bar, bro. Can't see him doing any of the stuff. that, you know, all the things that you love about Cap. I don't see it. Anyway, if you like this, let me know. There's going to be a whole bunch more of them, and I've got, I don't know, I thought I had all the issues of Wizard, but I probably got about half of them. But if you want to see me do another one, leave a comment. That's what I would like. Hit the likes, the subscribes, things that need to be poked so that you can, you know, see more of these videos. See you next week.